Hello, and welcome to Modern Skills in English. Today, we're talking about a feeling almost every student knows, being busy. Not just a little busy, but completely, totally, endlessly busy.
That's me. I looked at my schedule this morning and felt tired. Not from the work I'd done, but from the work I still have to do. My calendar is a wall of color. My to-do list has a to-do list. And the worst part is, I don't feel like I'm actually making progress on the things that matter most. It's like I'm running in place, just faster and faster. Why is there always too much to do?
That's the question we all ask. But what if the problem isn't the amount of work? What if the problem is a single word we're afraid to use?
You mean, like, I need a better planning app? Or a better system?
Not quite. Most students think the solution to feeling overwhelmed is better time management. They try to fit more and more into each day. They optimize, they schedule, they try to become more efficient.
Right, that's what all the advice says. Work smarter, not harder.
And that sounds reasonable, but it often misses the real source of the problem. The problem isn't how you manage your time, it's how you manage your agreements. The real problem isn't your schedule, it's your psychology.
My psychology? I just thought I was bad at planning.
We feel busy because we say yes too often. Every time we say yes, we add another task to our list. But we rarely think about what each yes truly costs.
It costs time, obviously.
It costs more than that. It costs focus. It costs energy. It costs the ability to do great work on your most important projects. The reason you feel like you're running in place is because you're trying to run in 10 different directions at once.
Okay, I can see that. But saying yes feels like the right thing to do. It's how you become a good student, right? You take on the extra project, you join the study group, you help a friend.
That's the first belief we need to look at. The idea that a good student is always available and always says yes. We believe this because we want to be seen as hardworking and reliable. We want to impress our professors and build a strong profile for the future.
Exactly. It shows you're engaged, you're ambitious.
But where does that lead? You say yes to leading a new club activity. You say yes to helping a classmate with their research, even though you have your own deadline. You say yes to an extra online course. Each one feels like a small, good decision, but together they create a huge weight.
A weight that crushes the quality of your main work.
Precisely. Your main essays get written late at night. You're too tired to study effectively for your biggest exams. Your yes to a small thing forces you to say no to excellence in a big thing. A great student understands that every yes is a new promise, a new responsibility. It's a serious commitment.
So a great student isn't the one who does the most things, but the one who honors their most important commitments. That feels different, but it's hard. What if my friend really needs help? My professor asks me to volunteer for an open day. Saying no feels so selfish. I feel like I'd be letting them down.
And that's the second powerful force at play, the fear of disappointing others. We are social animals. We want to be liked. We want to be seen as helpful and kind. Saying no feels like it creates conflict.
It does. It feels like you're saying, you are not important to me, or your problem isn't my problem. That can damage a friendship or a relationship with a teacher.
Let's look at that more closely. Imagine your friend asks for help with their major essay the night before it's due. You also have a project deadline for the next morning. What happens if you say yes?
I'd be up all night. I'd be stressed. I'd have to rush my own work. My friend's essay would probably only get half of my attention. The help I give wouldn't even be that good.
So by saying yes, you deliver poor help to your friend, you submit poor work for your own project, and you feel exhausted and resentful. Who did that yes actually serve?
Nobody. I see your point. A forced yes can be more disappointing than an honest no. But in that moment, it just feels easier to agree.
Because we are trying to avoid short-term discomfort, but it creates long-term pain. The feeling you described, being stressed, rushing, doing a bad job for everyone, that is the feeling of overwhelm. Saying yes to avoid disappointing one person can lead to a state of overwhelm where you end up disappointing 10 people, especially yourself. An honest, polite no from the beginning is actually a form of respect. It respects the other person enough to not make a promise you can't keep well, and it respects your own limits.
Okay, that makes sense for friends, but what about opportunities? I just got an email about an internship. It's not perfect, but it's an opportunity. My professor mentioned a weekend conference. My classmate invited me to co-author a blog post. I feel like I have to say yes to these things, because what if another chance doesn't come along?
Yes, it feels like I'm in a race, and if I stop to think, I'll lose. So I just say yes to keep all my options open. But do you keep your options open? Or do you just paralyze yourself with too many average options? Think about it. Every time you say yes to a new opportunity, you are silently saying no to something you are already doing.
What do you mean?
If you say yes to the internship, you are saying no to 2 hours of deep study every afternoon. If you say yes to the weekend conference, you are saying no to rest, relaxation, and catching up on your sleep. If you say yes to the blog post, you are saying no to the time it takes to make your main term paper truly excellent.
So the no happens anyway. It's just hidden. I'm not choosing what I say no to.
Exactly. The problem is that saying yes has become our automatic setting. It's our default. Because we fear missing out, our default response to any new opportunity is yes. We agree before we have even checked if we have the time, the energy, or if it aligns with our real goals. We need to change that default.
This all sounds logical, Sarah, but it feels simple. If it's just about saying no, why do even the most organized, successful students I know still feel completely burned out? They seem to say yes and manage it all.
It's a great question, and I think it's because we are looking at the wrong thing. We see their achievements, their full calendars, their long list of projects, but we don't see the cost. We don't see the anxiety, the lack of sleep, the work that is just good enough instead of great. And often those students are the ones who are closest to burning out completely. The secret isn't saying no to everything. The secret is understanding your limits.
My limits? I don't like to think about having limits. It's negative.
Think of your energy and focus like a glass of water. It can only hold so much. Every commitment you make, every yes you say, pours a little more water into that glass. A study group, a part-time job, a new project, helping a friend, more water, more water, more water. What eventually happens?
It overflows. A mess everywhere.
Exactly. And that mess is burnout. It's missed deadlines, it's poor health, it's the feeling of overwhelm. The goal is not to have an empty glass. The goal is to know how much your glass can hold, to understand your own capacity. A smart student doesn't try to pour 2 liters of water into a 1-liter glass. A smart student knows their capacity and protects it fiercely. Saying no is simply the tool you use to stop the glass from overflowing.
So it's not about being negative or unavailable. It's about being honest, being realistic. Saying yes when I know my glass is already full it's basically lying to myself and to the other person.
It is. It's a promise you can't truly keep. So the question is, how do we say no? How do we stop the overflow without being rude or damaging relationships?
That's the key. A simple no feels harsh.
It can. So we don't have to use a simple no. We can politely decline. When you decline, you are not rejecting the person. You are explaining your current reality. You can do it with a simple, honest formula. You show appreciation, you state your reason, and you wish them well.
Can you give me an example? Let's say a professor asks me to help organize a student event next month. My default would be to say yes immediately.
Instead, you could pause. You could check your mental glass of water and see that it's already full. Then you could say, "Thank you so much for thinking of me for this. I'm honored you asked. Unfortunately, my capacity is completely committed to my final year project right now, so I have to decline. I really hope the event is a huge success."
Wow, that doesn't feel negative at all. It feels professional. It shows I take my existing commitments seriously. It's not a rejection. It's a clarification of my priorities.
And it often increases the respect people have for you. It shows that your yes, when you give it, really means something. It's not a cheap word you give to everyone. It's a promise you intend to keep well. You move from a state of constant overwhelm to a state of control.
This whole time I thought being busy was a sign of success, but it's not. It's a sign that my yes is my default. It's a sign that I don't respect my own capacity.
And by trying to do everything, you risk doing nothing well. The goal isn't to do less. It's to do what matters better.
And to give yourself permission to do that. It's a relief. It's a relief to know that no can be the kindest and most responsible word I use, both for myself and for the people I'm saying it to.
Exactly. To all our listeners, thank you for joining us today.
We're always curious about what you're thinking. If there's a student challenge you're facing, let us know in the comments. We might explore it in a future episode.